Hi, I'm Alex Duquette, and you're watching a podcast where nostalgia comes alive. It's Jake's Happy Nostalgia Show. Roll it!
Welcome to Jake's Happy Nostalgia Show, the podcast where nostalgia comes alive. Since July of 2021, Jake and his friends have interviewed professionals in the worlds of acting, directing, writing, puppeteering, and many more. Who will they be chatting with in this week's interview? Find out in this Jake's Happy Nostalgia Show episode.
Hello everyone, welcome to this episode of Jake's Happy Nostalgia Show, where nostalgia comes alive. Happy to be here with us. Thank you for joining. As always, I'm your host, Jake Deffinbaugh. With me today, of course, our host, Chris Bixby and Matt Bingel. How's it going?
Doing good. Hi everybody. How are you, Jake?
I'm doing great, Matt. Thank you for asking. And yes, today's episode, it's been a little busy. We last time have a guest ghost joining us. He's a wonderful friend of ours that'll be joining us. Please welcome Jayson. How about you here, my friend? How's it going?
It's going all right. Thank you for having me today, Jake.
Absolutely.
Yes. Pleasure to have you.
Yes, indeed.
Yes, and Jake, who do we have for today's guest?
Well, today's guest we have for today, he's an actor, singer, dancer, photographer, and a lot of things. Some of you may know him in the Broadway side of things that we'll talk based on later. Of course, a lot of you may know him as being the host, as Josh, in the Blues Clues Revival series, Blues Clues and You, and a lot more that we'll touch base for his career later on. Please welcome Mr. Josh Dela Cruz. Welcome, Josh. Happy to have you here.
Hello, everyone. Good to see you both again, and good to meet you, Matt and Jayson. Oh, sorry, no, I've met Jayson, Matt.
We've met before.
It's a
yes.
pleasure to meet you too, Josh.
We've
Chris
met
and
before.
Jayson.
That's
Yes.
right.
Yes.
Good to meet you, Chris.
Yes.
No, Chris.
Yes.
Chris is me.
Nice to meet you
Chris
too.
and
Nice to meet you
Jayson.
too.
Yes.
to meet you.
Yes. Jake and I, for those who don't know, actually met Josh at GalaxyCon Richmond just a few months ago.
Yeah.
So,
So yeah, there's
That's
some
right.
pictures of us with input for post-production.
Post-production,
So-
yes.
So there you
Yeah.
go. To those who don't
There
know.
you go.
So
Yes.
yeah, pleasure to have you
Wonderful.
here, Josh. So
Yes.
to kick things off, we know who you are, but those who haven't, could you tell our audience a bit about yourself and what you do?
Yeah, my name is Josh. I am an actor. I grew up in New Jersey for most of my life before moving to New York City to pursue my acting career in musical theater. That being said, I started off as a stage actor, and then in 2018, I was fortunate enough to get one of my favorite jobs of all time, and I think that I will ever have, as the host of Blues Clues and You on Nickelodeon. And it's brought me to so many different places, and I've met so many amazing people because of it, like yourselves at GalaxyCon Richmond.
Thanks a lot, Josh. Thank you.
Means a lot.
Means a
Thank
lot.
you. So, what inspired you to want to get into the entertainment industry?
Oh, it definitely was not fame. I have no interest in being famous. I even before Blues Clues and when I was doing theater, I never really wanted to be famous. I just wanted to work and I wanted to act. It was one of the things that made sense to me, and it made me feel comfortable speaking in crowds and comfortable being in my own skin and expressing myself and being vulnerable, which even to this day I find very difficult. So when I came into theater in high school, really in high school, because I was in choir and orchestra when I was younger, but nothing, not acting really. I never saw that for myself growing up. Getting into high school, at the time, it was 8th grade through 12th grade, all together in one school. But the 8th graders couldn't do any of the sports that the rest of the school could do because of age and everything. So that we were very limited as to what extracurricular activities we could do. So we could do choir, we could do orchestra, and then my sister, who is 2 years older than me, we were at school at the same time for a little bit. As soon as I got to 8th grade, she said, "You're auditioning for the musical." And I said, okay. Because it was one of the best ways to get to know people and to have an extracurricular activity. And oh, look, somebody's joining us. This is our second dog, Birdie. She's a puppy.
Oh,
Aw.
Thank you. Thank you. She just came down to say hi. And
aw.
so
Uh-huh.
where was I, Bird? Thank you. So I said yeah. And that's when I started acting, really, was in 8th grade in the High School Musical. And the director was this guy named Rob McClure, who is now a Tony-nominated actor. And we went, he's from our town, and while he was going to school at Montclair State University, he came back and directed our shows. And that was the first time we had ever met anybody that was trying to do this thing that none of us realized could be an occupation. And because of his love and his passion for it, it kind of changed the tone and what was expected of us. And I really, really loved being in that environment and being around that community. And so I guess what really inspired me to be an actor was to continue to communicate and express myself through the material, and to be part of a community that was thinking about a larger picture and that was supporting each other. And that's something that I wanted that's something I wanted to have my entire life. And so that's really why that's what inspired me to become an actor, really.
Nice.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
Nice.
awesome. So, do you remember what your first professional job in the industry was?
Yes. So my first, well, okay, so two. So there are two. And I only say two because my first paid gig as an actor was in New Hampshire at Mount Washington Valley Theater Company. It was a summer stock production of, I believe, it was Cats.
Oh,
It was
nice.
Cat, and I played Skimble Shanks,
That's
the
great.
railway
Nice.
cat. And we also did Cabaret and Fiddler on the Roof, where I played
Oh,
the
okay, yeah.
fiddler on the roof. And I remember we got paid like $125 a week. And so
Wow.
it was non-equity, but it was like, that was the first time I'd ever lived away from home for 3 months, and did the thing that I was going to school for. And that was between my freshman and sophomore year in college. And then my first professional gig as an actor in a union job was right out of school. So fortunate to get that. I was in The King and I with Lou Diamond Phillips, who was also at GalaxyCon Richmond. And I was able to tell him, I was like, hey, man, I don't know if you remember me, but all those years ago in 2011, it was my first job, and I'll never forget it. But that was my first gig, The King and I. Do any of you know that show?
A little bit,
Mhm.
yeah.
Yeah, I've
I do.
heard of it.
Yeah.
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 It's like an old school golden age musical.
Mhm.
Some beautiful, beautiful music, and
Yeah, they've made many adaptations of it too.
Yes.
yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of film adaptations. It certainly is a small world. So, some of your off-Broadway acting was performing in the musicals Merrily We Roll Along and Here Lies Love. The latter, for those curious, is currently nominated for 4 Tonys for this year's upcoming Tonys, including original score, scenic design, sound design, and choreography. This is on Broadway, by the way. Back to off-Broadway. Could you talk about a bit about those roles?
Yeah. So Merrily We Roll Along, that was my first big job in New York City. James Lapine was directing. Stephen Sondheim was in the rehearsal studios. Colin O'Donnell was Franklin Shepherd. Lin-Manuel Miranda was Charlie. And oh my gosh, I'm blanking on her name. She's one of my favorite actors of all time. Right now it's on Broadway. There's a production of it on Broadway with I'm terrible with names. Harry Potter, Daniel Radcliffe.
Oh,
Yes.
cool.
Daniel Radcliffe, Lindsay Mendez. And so that was my first big job in New York City. It was only for a week. There were like 2 weeks of rehearsal, and I was surrounded by people like veterans of the business and just huge, like incredible performers. And I remember thinking, like, I had, do I belong here? Like, did I make a mistake doing this? I remember being so scared and so nervous. But again, like, you find your community. And I remember my girlfriend, who is my wife now, she told me, she messaged my teacher in college, and she was like, "You need to call Josh." And we talked, and like, there's so many things that there's so many self-sabotaging thoughts, and it was so important for me to go through that, and remember what it was that I loved. Like, what do I love about this? Why do I love doing it? And when I found that and got it, I was able to get through all the other BS that I made up in my head, all the doubt, being self-conscious, like, oh, I'm not good enough, or I'm not cool enough, or like, I'm awkward, and to be able to sit down, to get down and do the work. So that was an incredible experience. And, one job leads to another. Essentially, when you leave college or whenever you start your journey, you work jobs, you book shows, and hopefully they're better and better shows to give you a lot more clout and a lot more experience that is just that sets you apart from all the other people, and gives the people behind the table confidence that, okay, this is a responsible person, they're a professional, they know what they're doing. And so because of that, and some of the other work I did, I was able to do the workshop of Here Lies Love, which is a David Byrne musical based on Imelda Marcos, and it was on Broadway. It's nominated for Tonys, like you said, and that was the first time that I'd ever been part of a musical, and it was helping build and create it. It was incredible to go from our workshop in Williamstown Theater Festival. We spent, I think it was like 2 months. We were up in the Berkshires, and we were working on this musical. There were wooden platforms around. If you've never seen the show, essentially the entire show takes place in a club, and it's immersive theater. So all the actors are above and around you, and we're moving, and there's a platform called the blender that moves the audience around as well. And we were trying to figure all that out, on top of, like, how do we make the choreography work? How do they balance the sound? What is the clearest storytelling? What music works? What music doesn't? And it was amazing. Like, I'd never been part of an experience like that. And whenever you're doing something like that, you have such a strong bond with your cast. And to this day, the cast members are like family. And I went from that production to the off-Broadway production at the Public Theater. And that was one of the most incredible experiences. I remember leaving my restaurant job with a return date. I think it was in like May, because we opened in April and we were only supposed to be open for a few weeks. And oh yeah, I would be back in May. But then we got extended, and then we got extended again, and then we got extended again. And I remember thinking, oh gosh, I don't want to go back. Like, this is what I want to do. I want to stay. And thankfully, because of that job, I went straight into Aladdin auditions and booked that. So that, I mean, you never know where you're going to go, and you never know, like, what opportunities are going to present themselves. And that's why it's really just important to be prepared, and as prepared as possible. And being prepared means, knowing that you're good enough. You just have to do the work.
Nice. And that's actually a perfect segue. So, what was doing the Aladdin musical like?
Oh, it was amazing. I mean, like, we just celebrated our 10-year anniversary.
Oh, congratulations.
Yes,
Thank you.
congratulations.
Wow.
Yeah, a few weeks ago. And so we were all together. They got a lot of the original cast together. just to do a number, and it was incredible. We had been through so much as a family and as a cast that to see each other, and it was surreal. Like I remember thinking in rehearsal, I feel so safe around all these people that you know I know that I know that I'll get it. All the choreography and stuff, and having not done it in a long time. Normally I'd be nervous, but I was so chill. I was like, I'm gonna get it. Like I just feel safe around these people, and I think that's one of the greatest gifts, to feel so supported and feel so safe with your peers, especially in a work environment, that you're not afraid to make mistakes. And because of that, because you're working hard and you're not afraid of making mistakes, you're just there's nothing that you can't do, and you're just going to grow. And that's what happened at Aladdin. I grew so much being at Aladdin, as a performer, as a person. I got engaged, I got married, we got a dog, like things happened. And because of that, it fed right into Blue's Clues, where I was ready for that audition. I had castmates helping me with the material during the show. Like that's how tight of a family we were, and why like I was so successful at my audition, because I was so supported. And it's one of the greatest gifts anybody, any performer or anybody could ever receive. My dog is chewing up one of our our draft blockers for like under the door.
Oh,
Not for you, dude. It's not for you. Oh my goodness. Oh boy.
Oh.
This is her. She just had surgery last week, so she has
Aw.
like a surgery shirt that makes it look like she's wearing baby clothes, right?
Oh.
Yeah, so as far as like the audition process for a Blue's Clues and You, I know during the audition process, because I saw the video with all the auditions and stuff, and you got to if I'm correct, audition under the creators of Blue's Clues. What was getting to audition under them like?
It was great. I mean, there's such a supportive crew. Like I cannot stress how much how wonderful it was to audition for them. They're so supportive, and that's another thing. Like if you're an aspiring actor, the people on the other side of the table, they want you to be good. Like they believe that you can do it. So it's never like you just have to show up and do your best. That's
Yeah.
all that they want. But that couldn't be that. It was so true auditioning for Tracy and Angela and Sarah Landy and the entire team, the producers, for Steve. Like they really just wanted you to do your best, and we're so happy that you were there. And so it was incredible. Like I felt so supported, and barring my own nerves, felt free to play, and that's the most important thing. And I think that's the biggest part of the job, that the biggest piece of the puzzle that I could, when I first started, I completely forgot, was like play. You have takes. If it sucks, we'll do it again. Like that's kind of like how, or if it's not as good as, if it doesn't hit all the markers, to be crude, like in my head, I was like, if it sucks, we'll do it again. I mean, not to say that it was bad, but there are very technical things that we have to accomplish. Like, oh, we really need to get this eye line right, for animation purposes. And so, like, they made it so easy to play, and auditioning for them was joy.
Nice.
Oh, that's great. So now I'm kind of curious. Even though I feel like a lot of Blue's Clues fans didn't really know that you're actually a fan of the original series. So what was it? So like how much familiar you were with the original series before getting the hosting role?
I watched the show with my little sister when she was, I think, 3 or 4. With Steve when it first came out. She was born in 92. When was she born? I was born in 89. Was she born in 93? I'm a good brother.
Way too nice to be on there.
And then the show came out in '96. And then my cousin, she watched the show with Joe. So like it was in my life. And even when I was in like fourth grade and beyond, like people still watch the show. Like we would still watch the show. It's such a relaxing piece of television. And there's something to be said about slow TV. There's a lot like of really high energy, fast paced TV and cartoons, which is amazing. But I find myself really missing that slow paced television where you had time to think. And so that was one of my favorite parts about the show, was that it gave me time to think and to figure it out for myself. And that is invaluable, the older you get, figuring it out for yourself.
That's great. And Jayson, I know you had a few questions for Josh. You can go ahead and ask those if you want to.
Go ahead.
Yes. Speaking of Broadway, Josh, what was it like to do Blues Big City Adventure, getting to combine both Blues Clues and Broadway together?
That's a great question. I had always wanted, it's always been a dream of mine to film on location in New York City. And not only that, to be able to combine both my, personal journey as like wanting to be in a musical, and then my personal dream of wanting to film on location all in one movie. It was amazing. I think one of my favorite memories is performing in Central Park. In that sequence, it's a scene with Taboo, who we met at Central Park. Now that I'm thinking about it,
that's my
we
song.
met at Central Park, waiting. We were on the same bus the year that we both performed at the Macy Thanksgiving Day Parade, and he became a friend. And like to be able to have that come full circle, it's like, oh wow, we're not far from where we were waiting on the bus. But even more than that, we filmed on location at Bethesda Fountain, and it was ultimately cut from the movie, but my wife and I were celebrating our 5-year wedding anniversary that week. And that week we filmed a dance sequence where it was just this beautiful, like old school musical Fred and Ginger ballroom dance like under the steps of Bethesda Fountain where we were engaged. And so it was so special and so beautiful. And it was at night, and it's one of my favorite memories ever. What are you doing, dude? Oh, you got it again. You got it again. This thing. You can't do that. Oh, she's a monster. Monster. But yeah, so that it was incredible. That's getting to work with people and getting to work with amazing people is my favorite thing. And the fact that I got to work with my wife in such a special location during such a special time, and to do this beautiful dance together on our 5-year wedding anniversary was incredible.
That's great.
That's wonderful.
That's great. Did you have any other questions for Josh, Jayson?
Yes. Is there any song from Blues Clues that gets stuck in your head when you're working sometimes?
Oh gosh, all the time. You know what's so funny is that even before Blues Clues, like I would sing to myself. Like if I forgot something. You ever see the movie Elf?
Yeah, of course.
That's a good movie.
I'm in a store.
Yes,
and
love that
I'm
movie.
I'm singing in a store.
Yep.
I'll walk into a room, and if I forget something, I'll start singing to myself. I'll be like, I came to this room for something, and that something is tissues. Like that's what I'll do. Like I'll totally forget what it is, and when I need to remember something, I'll just start singing, and it'll be nonsense. Like I came here from the bathroom, and I needed to do something. Q-tips. I needed Q-tips. And so that's typically what I'll do. But as far as songs from the show, I mean, like the Planet song's pretty good.
That's a good one. That's a classic.
Yeah. How about you all? What are some of the songs that you find are in your head? For
Oh my
better or worse.
gosh.
Oh, wow.
For better or worse.
Better or worse? Okay. So when I'm in college, when I'm struggling during a test, to play blues because like the last part comes up to my head. You can do anything. I'm like, Jesus.
It's great advice, especially at the end of a test.
It is.
Like you can
It
do
is.
anything, Jayson. How about you, Matt, Chris, Jake?
Oh my
Wow.
gosh.
Wow.
So,
I mean,
Planet
wow.
Song is one of them.
Yeah, Planet
Yeah.
Song definitely. Oh my
Oh, yeah.
gosh.
The
Oh my goodness.
sometimes in my spare time I like to draw, so sometimes I think about colors everywhere.
That's a good one.
oh,
That's a good
Oh
one.
yeah, I
That's a
love
very
that
good
one
one.
too.
Yeah.
I'm so
um,
happy you're here.
That's a really good
Oh,
one too.
what's
Um,
that one? Can you sing it for
the-
me?
I'm so happy you are here. That
It
one.
was
Oh,
from
From Steve.
Yeah. Yeah. Uh-huh.
Yes, that's right.
yeah, there are a lot of good
Um,
ones.
One of my favorites was the birthday song from Blue's Birthday and the birthday candle dance that they did.
Yep.
Oh wow.
When there's gonna be a birthday, I know most of us will have that song in our heads most of the day.
Certainly is in
Just
mine.
that song. So that's definitely another one that's just stuck to my head. I mean, recent like new Blues Clues songs that like, got to be done, which oh my gosh, I just love. What I Like About Blue.
Oh, that's a good
yes.
one.
Yeah.
It's a great one.
Yeah.
That's a really, really good one. I like that one a
Yeah.
lot.
And
Me too.
and of course, like you can't spell blue without you.
Yeah, so
Oh,
yeah, I mean that's a
That's-
wonderful song.
Kat did an amazing job.
Our music supervisor and composer P.T. Walkley is incredible. He's behind so many great songs. Right now he's writing for Gabby's Dollhouse. He's just incredible. He's a good friend, and we're so lucky to have him because all that music is just amazing.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
It really is.
And I mean, going back to Blues Big City Adventure a little bit, like On Our Way is such a wonderful song
Oh
as
my
well.
gosh.
Yeah.
Like you mentioned Taboo, that's my song.
Yeah.
Oh my
Happiness is
gosh.
There's
magic.
Oh, go ahead, Jayson.
Happiness is magic.
Happiness is magic is a really great one.
Yeah.
That's what me and
there-
Jason Lee just said at the
yeah.
same time. That's funny.
Yeah, there are a lot of good ones.
Brand New Day, which I literally listened to it earlier while I was walking, and it was just so cool.
Yeah,
Oh yeah.
So many great songs.
it's great.
Absolutely. So I'm curious, do you have any favorite episodes from Blue's Clues and You?
One of my favorite episodes from Blues Clues and You is the missing thinking chair. That was such a
Yeah,
silly
that's a good one.
episode for so
Yes.
many reasons. But whenever I get to be on set with Steve and Donovan, it's my favorite episode. We've known each other for years now, but if you put all our days together, we haven't been like together for all that long. Like if you put
Right.
all the days that we've actually spent time in a room together on a calendar, we haven't been together that long, even though we've known each other for years. But we have such a specific history with the show, and there's so few people. There are only two other people that know what it's like to be me, and it's Steve and Donovan. And so there's like this brotherhood of Blues Clues hosts and we're like brothers. We complement each other really well. We're our own personalities. I cannot stress to you how different we all are, but we still share the same sense of humor, the same sensibility, and it's just great coming together. Whenever we get the chance, if somebody were to tell me like Steve and Donovan are going to be there, I'm like, okay, I'll be there too. So anytime I'm in an episode with them, it's my favorite episode ever, but especially the missing thinking chair because it was just silliness.
Yeah, it's a good one. I think one of my favorites, it's kind of more of an earlier one. There's an episode called Welcome to Blues Bistro.
Oh yeah,
Where it's like, what does Blue want to eat? And then
cheesy pizza.
yeah, Cheesy Pizza. That's a great song. And Steve also wrote that episode.
Yeah, wrote and
Yeah, oh my
directed. That's
gosh.
right.
Yeah.
He did an amazing job, for his involvement in the directing and writing. It's just so amazing. I mean, there's so many wonderful episodes. I mean, once I'm like thinking about the spot is the Thinking Squad.
Oh yeah.
Blue's Big Dance Party, and the one other episode that's kind of one of the remakes, which I know you appreciate, Jason, for me to mention, because I know that's your favorite episode. That's some kind of a remake to a Blues Sing Along Spectacular.
Blue Stock.
Oh,
Yeah, it's a
Yeah,
remake
it was based
of
on
Blue
Blue
Stock.
Yeah.
oh, that's great. That's
Yeah,
great.
they're a lot of
I
wonderful ones.
love the episodes of so many episodes of the for reboot series that you can do in your own way for remake episodes, especially for example the very first episode, which is meet Josh, when really it's focus on snack time.
Oh, listen, I love snacks. I love it so much. Steve and Donovan nicknamed me Snacks because I always have snacks around. I remember when we were filming the movie, there's this thing called Crafty or Craft Services where they have snacks and food and everything. And at the beginning, they were like, "What are your favorite snacks?" And I gave them a list. And then I would get a bag of snacks, a big bag of snacks of the things that I like. And I'm like, "Oh my gosh, this is amazing." And then the next day I'd be like, "Hey, can I get that snack bag again?" They're like, "What happened to it?" I was like, "I finished it."
That's funny. I mean, I know that when you're doing shooting remake episodes, like Ryan mentioned, Snack Time and Pajama Party, Happy Birthday Boo, and all those things. I know you were having so much fun doing it, especially that you're kind of revisiting to do those, but in your own way for the series. So
New twist.
We're a family. Like on set, we're a family. Like those people. It was like Aladdin, where I left that show. I left Aladdin thinking, "Oh man, I'm never going to have an experience like this," and I never will, because it's its own thing, and you can't compare experiences because it's different. Things will change. But Blue's Clues, that was another family. I felt so safe. And I'm so thankful because that's all that you ever want. You just want to feel safe, and it makes you want to make other people feel safe.
Absolutely.
And so we were a family, and I miss those people dearly every single day. You have it good when it's easy to take things for granted.
Absolutely.
And taking the time that we spent together for granted until we realized that it was over was devastating, but also what a gift to have spent that much time together, so much quality.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, the ones I'm thinking that you Steve and Donovan be a part of, which I absolutely love that episode so much. Even though we're not I know it's not like holidays or anything right now, but Blues Night Before Christmas.
Oh, that
I love that one.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, there are a lot of good ones. And so talking about some of the guest stars you've had on, we've one of them's actually a previous guest, Carolyn Faye.
Yes,
played
I was
Lola.
gonna say we don't often have guest stars. A lot of our guest stars happen as a voiceover, and so I'll never have actually worked with them. But Carolyn Faye is
That's right.
incredible.
Oh,
She
love
is.
Carolyn. She is the best. Since we kind of talking about what Josh kind of mentioned with the guest stars. One I just thought myself where Megan Trainor voiced the Rainbow.
I was just
I
thinking
know.
that too.
I love that episode too.
She was amazing.
Yeah.
And it's one of people's favorite songs, myself included.
Yes.
On set, we called the Rainbow Megan Trainbow.
That's nice.
That's amazing.
So they're like, who I was like, and then so Megan Trainbow is gonna be she's up over here for eyeline and stuff like that. And so that was the inside joke.
Oh, that's great. Yeah.
Whenever we were working on it, because she had already recorded the song at that point.
Right.
I recorded, then she recorded, or whatever that order was. But by the time we got on set, her version was for the most part done. So it wasn't the final mix, but we had it for reference. And then we could just kind of oh, hey, Megan Trainbow. That was a lot of fun. I can't remember if I was actually sick for that episode or if I was only playing that I had a cold. One of them, there were many episodes where I was actually sick. And blowing my nose off screen. But yeah, that was a lot of fun.
Nice.
Right.
That's wonderful. So now, since we talked a little bit about working with Tracy and Angela, like learning under them in the auditions, what was it like getting to actually work with them on the show now?
It was it was exactly that. They're like family. They're like my aunts.
Hmm.
Um, my aunts and like siblings, where they're just they're just so they're so accepting, they're so trusting. And I would, from time to time be like, are you sure? Like, are you sure about me? Because, are you sure you trust me like that? I was like, okay, I'll just do what I can. But I remember that Steve and Donovan pulled me aside when we first started, and they're like, hey, I don't know if anybody ever told you this, but we just want you to know, like, they cast you because they love you. So don't ever feel like you have to replicate or copy or try to do anything that we did, because they cast you because they love the things that you're bringing. So play and explore that. And from day one, Angela and Tracy supported that 100%. And let me find my own version of Josh, which was so like incredible, but also they didn't have to do that. Like, they are who they are, and could tell me like, hey, actually, can you do it like this? We want you to be more like this. But it's their show, it's their baby. They created the show when they were like in their early 20s.
Yeah.
And like, it's a huge property, like from a business standpoint, a multi-billion-dollar property that has generational um, uh, value, because kids that were watching it are parents now. So like, it's a hugely influential show. And when
Oh,
it
yeah.
came my turn,
Yeah.
they were like, okay, like, just like, have fun. you know
Yeah.
and so that was such a gift. Working with them is such a gift. Their family, and I'm just so thankful to be associated with them.
Oh, for sure, for sure.
Mhm.
So we talked about this kind of briefly earlier, but now you're on Blues Clues and and you finally get the opportunity to perform in the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade. And I mean, we all, I'm sure, grew up watching the Macy's Parade.
Yep.
Particularly watching, the Sesame Street folks do it every year.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
What was it like for you finally getting to perform in the Macy's Parade?
I've always wanted to do it. I've always wanted to perform the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade, and and for me, I was like, oh well, maybe I'll do a show. Maybe I'll be lucky enough to do a Broadway musical that performs um, on the grandstand, and that never happened. And then when it finally came, and they're like, no, Josh, it's just gonna be you. And then next year, it's just going to be you. You're going to do it with Steve and Donovan. And then the year after that, it's going to be you and like 20 of the most incredible dancers you have ever witnessed. I'm beside myself thinking that I had the opportunity and that it ever even happened. Um, because that's all I wanted. Like, we would watch the parade and we watch all these performances, and then to watch it on screen, and then to be inside of it on the other side of the camera, and see like see the crowds, all the sights and all the sounds. Like, it's so loud. And then when it comes go time, it's like 3, 2, 1, music starts. You have to trust that you're prepared, and that, again, now just play. If it goes wrong, you'll figure it out. But now is playtime. Um, and so it's a rush like nothing else. And like I'm even getting excited thinking about it now. It's one of my favorite times to be in New York City, period, in the first place. And so whenever I got the chance to do the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade, I was always excited because the city was even busier than it typically is. And I had time to walk around with my camera. And so I would just, go out and take photos and then come back, get some rest, go to rehearsal, and then do it all over again.
Yeah, and speaking of photos, I remember seeing the picture of you with the Sesame Street gang.
Yes.
And you actually got
Yeah.
to, were you and Alan like good friends? Because I know you both kind of have a
Oh, I love Alan.
kind of theater background, so that's why I
Yeah.
was.
So Alan, we know each other professionally in theater, and this was before Blues Clues ever started. I knew him as a director and as a cast member. He directed me in Cinderella. He directed different readings, and then he joined the company of Aladdin as Iago for some time. And I was an understudy to him, and that was like the greatest thing ever. He's one of the most gracious performers you could you'll ever meet, and so talented and so funny, and timing so incredible. And now he's an Emmy award winning director
Yes.
he's
So
an
happy for him.
inspiration to me, and I'm just so happy to know him.
That's
Yes.
great.
Yes,
And you
absolutely.
and you got to meet, what Chris kind of mentioned, you got to meet like some of the Sesame Muppeteers too, Bradley, Fruman Jr., Captain
Yeah.
Kim,
I know.
Mark Robinson, Noah
know-
McNeil, great
Yeah,
guys.
a number of them we've had on our show previously, so it's great that you
Yes.
actually got to meet them.
Yes, they're all amazing.
Oh my gosh, the appearance that you and Steve and Donovan saying they can't spell Brew without you, like, oh my
Oh, yeah.
gosh.
Oh man, you know what's
I love
what's
that.
amazing about that was that the first two Macy's performances was choreographed by my dear friend Donald Jones Jr., who also choreographed my the dance that my wife and I performed when I surprised her and proposed when I surprised her with a proposal. So he was in Aladdin with me. He was an understudy genie. We've been on, like, we were roommates in Toronto. Like, this man I love, and he choreographed that. And so it's like this whole family affair that we were able to, to go from Aladdin to Blues Clues, and it's great how the family just keeps growing and how we're all so connected.
Absolutely.
Nice.
You know,
Absolutely.
it's kind of a small world for me because I also was once Iago. I was Iago myself in my local elementary school many years ago. Did Aladdin Kids from Music Theater Internet. I still have my book here. This is
Oh
20
wow.
Oh,
This
that's
was
really
tw-
cool.
That's
20
cool.
This was 2011. This was 13 years ago. I still have the shirt because it's really interesting. I'm gonna give some Broadway terminology here, people. Okay, so it was interesting for me because not only was it my first time, doing something like this, but I also learned a little thing called a quick change. Originally, they didn't do this, but for those who kind of don't know, I'll kind of give an example here. I'll open up my script here. I know exactly where it is. It's in the first scene. It's a little different from the actual show on Broadway, but they had two groups of like dancers and that kind of a thing. In the first song, Arabian Nights, when the wind's from the east and the sand from the west, we all sing in the sand and the glasses, right? After to another Arabian night, that. After they sang Arabian Night, I had to run off stage and change from, I think it was a black outfit to my Iago costume, which was simple. It was a red shirt, red pants, all covered with red and blue feathers. I still have the shirt after all
Amazing.
these years. Doesn't fit me anymore, obviously, but so yeah, I learned about a quick change, people, and believe me, it is quick.
Yeah, like we had to go like 10 seconds to go back and forth. And it's kind of
I'd say a little bit longer than that, but it's like less than a minute, I'd say.
right, yeah.
But-
Yeah, at least, yeah.
I think a quick change is one of the, it can be one of the most intimidating things ever. obviously you nailed it. And one of the biggest secrets for a quick change is to go slow, if that makes any sense. You need to go slow, and you need to be calm so that the people that are helping you, and it's very well choreographed. So if you go slowly and you're precise, you and the people that are helping you can get that thing done ASAP. I think in our show, in Aladdin, our fastest quick change, I think was like 8 seconds.
Wow.
Nuts.
Wow.
So
That's
I'm glad
crazy.
that you are part of the initiated, Matt. And
I am.
know the horror and the thrill that is the quick change.
Yes.
That's
yes.
That's
Intimidating at first, but kind of got used to it. So
Yes.
Right.
So
Yeah, exactly. So it's kind of a full circle moment for you to like, so we kind of talk about full circle, like from you being like a Blues Clues fan to like, working, with, Steve and Dom, and then
and
being with them
Tracy
for
and all them, yeah.
without you, song it, and that was just so great. I know you will definitely remember one of the best memories that you'll ever think of, for doing the show
Absolutely
and
full
the
circle
create
moment.
itself. So yeah. So I want to since we're kind of about to very close to wrap up very soon. I want to ask something deep cut because not a lot of people really know about this, but you and Kat did like a mashup of Last Christmas and Leave Before You Love Me, which
Oh my goodness!
love
I was
that.
like, Cat. I'm like, oh my gosh, Cat.
yeah.
That
JP
took
and
me a
Kat,
second too.
they're so wonderful. What was it like doing that with her?
It was she saved my butt. She saved my butt. Because we were recording it, and then something didn't work out with one of the the person that I was singing with. It just the turnaround time was too quick, and we couldn't redo things. And Kat just laid it down in one go, and I was like,
Then JP got to produce it.
Yeah,
too.
I remember PT was like, because PT did the her husband did the mix. So it was like, oh, she's the mix is in the apartment, so she can just record it really quick. Just incredible. I was like, man, she sounds amazing. Again, like self-sabotaging. Are we sure we want us together? Because like I feel like somebody else should sing my part now because she's so incredible. But it turned out better than I could have ever hoped, dreamed. And
That's
I'm so
wonderful.
thankful to her, and because it's amazing. I would love to do a music video for that one day.
Oh my gosh, that'd be so
cool.
great.
I think that would be a lot of fun.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So to wrap this up, this podcast is called Jake's Happy Nostalgia Show. When you think of nostalgia, what do you think of, or how would you define the word nostalgia?
Oh my gosh. How would I define the word nostalgia, and what do I think of? Nostalgia to me is remembering that you were so safe that you could just nostalgia to me means feeling so safe that you felt content, and
That's
that
wonderful.
it was enough.
That's great.
You weren't wanting anything else. You didn't want anything more. You were just content, and you were safe. And that feeling is a gift whenever I get it.
Nice. Great word to end on. Well, Josh, thank you so much for taking the time to do this. This was a blast.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm so grateful to spend the time to talk with you all and to meet you, Chris and Jayson.
Pleasure to meet you too.
Yes,
That means a
absolutely.
lot. And thank you so much, Josh, for what you've done over the years, especially with Blues Clues and you and all those things, to keep the Blues Clues legacy going, for where you are, and everything. It means so much to all of us, and to me, Blues Clues fans out there who's watching this, and keep up the good work of what you're doing now, and cannot wait what's next in store.
Thank you so much.
Yes,
You're
and
welcome.
keep on the lookout for.
I'm glad we're able to to do this. It means a lot
Yes.
from me and Matt.
Yes.
Met at Galaxy Con Richmond, and now we're doing this. It's the third guest. Me, myself, third guest.
First one this year. First one.
Yes.
First
Yes.
one this
Oh,
year.
what an honor.
Yes, keep on the lookout for more
Awesome.
wonderful interviews coming your way. And as always, what do we say, Jake?
Keep nostalgia alive, and remember, if you use your mind, take a step at a time, you can do anything that you want to do. Of course, I have to do the reference. Yeah, until then, keep nostalgia alive. Take care. Take care. See ya. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you for tuning in to another wonderful Jake's Happy Nostalgia Show interview. Be sure to follow Jake and the crew on social media and stream the show wherever you find your favorite podcasts. And as always, remember to keep nostalgia alive. Bye-bye.